After raising my daughter alone for 15 years, she didn't invite me to her wedding and chose her mom's boyfriend to walk her down the aisle because I wasn't wealthy or sophisticated enough. On her wedding morning, daughter called me up in panic because her mom screwed up big time, but this time I refused to clean her mess. I'm sorry if I'm not doing this correctly. I'm new to Reddit, and I'm posting because I'm very conflicted and just want honest opinions. This is about my daughter Samantha, Sam, 24, female, but I need to explain our family dynamics before getting into the reason for making this post. I, male, 51, got married to my ex-wife Judith, female, 49, when I was 24. We had known each other since we were kids and had always been together. Judith came from a very broken household and spent most of her days at my place. My parents treated her like family, and we gradually got close. I had always been in love with her ever since I was a kid. Both of us came from very humble backgrounds and built what we have from scratch. At 24, we got married. I was a normal truck driver. I didn't have the money to afford college, and I wanted to make a living as early as I could. Judith didn't go to college either. She worked as a waitress in a local restaurant, and between the two of us, we were comfortable. It wasn't as though we were starving, but we weren't extremely well off either. Then Judith got pregnant. She decided to quit her job and focus on raising the baby. It was a financial strain for us, but this was the best arrangement possible. We didn't have money for daycare at the time, and I was earning more than her anyway, so it made sense for her to stay home and for me to bring in the money for the family. I changed companies, got promoted, and had a bump in my pay, so by the time Samantha turned 3, we were quite comfortable. Things were better back then, I won't deny it. The economy was in better shape, so we could afford a lot more on our limited income than anyone with the same or similar paycheck can today. We were lucky because, despite being tight, it was mostly smooth sailing for us. The issue started when Samantha started school. Judith began getting bored at home and said that she wanted to start working again. We had a long discussion and finally agreed that I would cut back on some hours and help around the house more, and she would get a job. This suited me because I had been working myself to death for all those years that Judith was at home. I worked 14 hours a day, 6 days a week, so the minute I came home, I was beat. I was very happy with the change because it gave me time with my daughter, and the new arrangement worked beautifully at first. I came home at a reasonable time and could spend time with Sam. I helped her with homework, and it felt like I was finally bonding with my daughter after all these years. Judith seemed happy with the change too. She was a little aloof at home, but I understood that her life had been within the 4 walls of the house for years and years, and this was her time to go out and catch a break. I was more than happy to pick up the slack so that she could have time to herself. Little did I know that the entire time I was busy bonding with my daughter, Judith was busy looking for a way out of the situation. When she got a job after all those years, it wasn't at her former workplace, it was at a nice cafe that was frequented by affluent people. I think being around the kind of crowd made her look down upon me and our living situation. Mind you, we weren't poor, but we also weren't loaded or bathing in luxury. She started pressing me to work more hours and make more money, but I didn't want to because I didn't see the need. I would much rather spend time with my daughter and wife than slave away for a few extra dollars that we could very honestly do without. I don't know why or when it happened, but Judith gradually started resenting me and Sam. It all came to a huge blow a few months later when Sam was 7. Judith came home late, drunk as hell. She had developed an alcohol problem, and no amount of support or counseling could help her out of it. She came home, and by then I had lost my patience with her. For a long while, it had started feeling like I was a single parent. Judith used to come home late, and I was the one who had to do almost all the chores. I helped Sam with her school work, made her braids, and got her ready for school. There were days when Sam didn't even miss her mother, she had become so used to her absence. So that night was the final straw for me. I told Judith that she needed to get her act straight and be a mother to our daughter because I was exhausted from playing both dad and mom to her. That's when she dropped the bomb. She told me that she wanted a divorce and that she was having an affair with someone. The next few days were a blur. I won't bore you with the details. She met someone at the cafe, they hit it off, and they've been having an affair for the past year. The guy, Stephen, now male, 60, was loaded, and she left Sam and me for him. It hurt like hell, but at least I knew my daughter was safe, and that was all that mattered. She did not fight me for custody. She didn't even want Sam. I just told her she was allowed to do whatever the hell she wanted, but I didn't want her influencing Sam. That worked perfectly for her because her new boyfriend wasn't good with kids anyway. It was as though she had flipped and become someone else altogether. She was not the woman I married, and she was not the mother of my daughter. Since then, it has been only Samantha and me. Judith breezes in and breezes out as and when she wishes, with expensive gifts for Sam to compensate for what she could never do emotionally and physically, but the entire job of raising our daughter fell on me, and I tried to do it as well as I could. It was tough, but I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. Now on to the main issue. Sam has been in my care since her mother left. It wasn't ideal for either of us, but it was what it was. I tried to be there for her as much as I could. I never missed a single school meeting, didn't miss her sports events, and drove her to most parties. I tried my best. I knew that I couldn't do much for her financially, so I tried to be a parent and be there for her. I tried to be her friend. I tried to create an open environment at home. I'm not saying that I haven't made mistakes, but I've always tried not to and tried to do justice as Sam's only parent. Sam, however, loved being with Judith. Judith married into money and lots of it, so she used to compensate with gifts and extravagant things that I couldn't afford. It made me feel bad because I knew I could never give my daughter what Judith was giving her, but at the end of the day, Sam was happy, and that's what mattered the most to me. However, I didn't realize that somehow all this was influencing Sam poorly. She preferred her mother over me because she valued the material things that she got as gifts more than the everyday life that she and I shared together. Initially, I let it go because she was a kid, and any kid would love her shiny new toys more than everyday things. What I didn't realize, however, was that this was becoming a part of her personality and that this would carry on into adulthood. When she turned 18, she told me that she wanted to be a hairdresser, so I enrolled her in a cosmetology course. She worked really hard, and I was very proud of her. She got her degree and started working very soon. Ever since then, she would try and avoid meeting me. I didn't think it was avoidance at first. I just believed her when she said that she was busy, and I respected that she was starting out her job, and the first few months can be rough, so I cut her some slack. I missed her. I missed just the two of us hanging out together, but I didn't express it to her because I didn't want her to feel guilty. She was her own person, and she had every right to live a good life. What else had I worked so hard for? But gradually, it began to dawn on me that she was deliberately creating distance between us. I tried to reach out a couple of times and even asked her if I had done something wrong, but she never disclosed anything to me. We weren't estranged, but we also weren't very close. I guess that's part of growing up, you drift away from your parents. It just hurt me a lot because she was all I had.